GamerCast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the GamerCast Network Video Game Show, episode number 77 for Sunday, February 17th, 2008. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, the question is from Bob.
For our special President's Day show, tell me the game that you would like to make based off of one of the presidents of the United States.
And joining us this evening is Bob.
I'd make a game with William Howard Taft, and it'd be like Hungry Hungry Hippos, except instead of marbles, it would be entire hams. I really don't think more needs to be said.
Yeah. Okay. And also joining us this evening is Ivan.
I've got two. Either George Washington, and you have to grind in the game by chopping down cherry trees the whole time. Or was it Teddy Roosevelt, the one with the gimpy legs?
FDR?
Oh, there you go, FDR. And you wheeled yourself around in a wheelchair the whole time and smite foes from your wheelchair. Wheelchair racing game. What? Too soon?
No, I think we're good on that one. Also joining us is Phil.
Kennedy, RTS for the Vietnam War and actually have a chance to win it.
No, Kennedy, it's a sniper game.
Well, if you're going to say that, then maybe you should say Thomas Jefferson so you could be Aaron Burr and shoot him.
Or maybe you could be William Henry Harrison and they force you to stop playing the game in 30 days.
You stole mine, damn it.
Oh, I'm sorry!
You suck. You know too much about presidents.
You'll have to come up with another one then. And joining us is Microsoft Xbox Community Manager, Chris Paladino.
Hi, Bob stole mine. Give me the least popular president. I was going to use William Henry Harrison because not many people have heard of him. And it was going to be a stealth game where you're supposed to go undetected for your entire term. You ruined it, Bob. You stole my thing, man.
If I had to come up with one, I would have to say, let's think, Richard Nixon.
Okay.
In the game, he has to go hunt down Patrick Swayze for stealing his image in Point Break. Yeah, that's when he was wearing the mask, doing the bank robberies as Richard Nixon, right? Right.
Oh, I like that movie.
You would.
This week on the GamerCast Network. Check out the latest episode of Vocal Gamer for more of their special brand of excitement. This week on Sarcastic Gamer, Doc gets rickrolled, and there's a new patch for Call of Duty. Is it good? Is it bad? Doc, Dave, Lano, and special guest Rothbard will let you know. Gamertag Radio 3rd year anniversary celebration starts this week. Don't miss the gaming party of the year in Miami, Florida. Listen to this episode for all of the details. On Achievement Junkie, check in with Nelson and Natalie as they help you take your gamer score to the next level. Go to Podtacular for all the news from the unofficial Halo universe. Discover the website that brings you all these great episodes and headlines at GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Okay, so unfortunately Keith isn't here, so we can't get his take on this, but EA has extended their hold on the NFL license at least until 2013.
Ooh.
Well, honestly, Ivan, do you care?
I don't care because I don't play the games. I do care based on principle. They're not doing a great job with it. They're not innovating. There's no competition, which means there's no reason for them to put new things in the game. You're just getting the same crap year after year.
For me personally, this is Chris Paladino speaking. The games are always better when there's competition and it drives everybody to make a better, more complete game. So if there was only one console or only one football game or only one whatever, probably not going to be as good as if there were a couple.
Right, because all you have to do is make a game. There's tons and tons of people out there who all they want to do is they want to play NFL football with their favorite players and their favorite teams. And so as long as the game functions properly and is decent, it's going to sell. But it's not going to innovate. It's not going to have lots of cool features and different game modes and all kinds of other stuff if there's not another game out there that's already doing it.
And if no game has 4-player cooperative stuff, obviously it's never going to show up in a later Madden game.
They can claim that, nobody's really asking for that feature, but if 2K made an NFL game and it had that feature, damn well EA would put that feature in.
The issue is it's just the NFL license. People can make whatever football game they want. They're just not allowed to use the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Are we sort of saying then that there's no hope of a game that doesn't use a real license in professional sports?
2K Sports tried that with the 2K8 All-Pro, and obviously no one bought it. Who knows? All we know is we're stuck with Madden.
I guess it was last year or this year, they got a new NFL commissioner.
Yeah, Roger Goodell took over this last season.
Yeah, they were hoping the new commissioner would maybe put an end to that.
Obviously, they threw money his way. You don't say no when they bring wheelbarrows full of money.
And honestly, they probably don't care. Oh, they're getting a wheelbarrow full of money. They don't care if two people bring two wheelbarrows full of money or one person brings the same amount in one.
Let's go with the other big EA news story of the week. Beyond just securing the rights to NFL for the next couple of years, they're also going to launch 5 new sports video game franchises. They haven't said what franchises they're going to be targeting, like tennis or billiards or...
But UFC will be one.
Horse racing?
What about UFC versus horse racing?
That'd be tight.
Pretty sure the horse is going to win in that.
I don't know, man. Chuck Liddell's pretty tough, dude. What about the president in a wheelchair strapped to a horse fighting Chuck Liddell?
Okay, that'd be okay. That'd be a little more fair. Because horses are skittish. I think they'd run away on their own. You need FDR to keep them in line.
Next topic.
I didn't check this at all. Bob, you actually caught that thing with the Hello Kitty MMO. There's now a Hello Kitty MMO targeting teen girls.
What do they say? It's due out in second quarter of this year.
Okay, for the couple people out there who don't know what Hello Kitty is, it's basically a Japanese cat character that was developed in the mid-1970s, and there's a whole universe created around it of cats and dogs and things living together. It's mainly a thing for young girls, and Bob, this is going to be a free-to-play game, correct?
It's free. They're not selling it.
Isn't this a ripe ground for the guys to pretend they're girls and go in and just start...
Dude, the whole thing is going to be dudes. Because no parent in their right mind would let their child play a free, anybody-can-play game targeting 10 to 14-year-old girls.
We should come up with a definition, because I doubt Hello Kitty will be an MMO. It will just be an MO, because there's no way a massive amount of people are actually going.
Yeah, what do you have to break for it to be massive?
1,000? 10,000? 100,000? There was a website that had stats, and I remember seeing the higher ranked server, like City Heroes in its heyday, had a couple 100,000, and that was it.
So what we're looking at here is a chart from MMO charts. I'll put a link in the show notes to it.
World of Warcraft. Looks like it's about to eat all of the other ones. It's like the Pac-Man mouth about to close.
City of Heroes, 0.8.
I'm surprised it's that low.
It's a rough thing to try and go up against World of Warcraft.
Didn't Microsoft, they're the ones that gave up on the Marvel MMO because they felt they couldn't compete with World of Warcraft. I think, what was the reasoning that Shane Kim gave? He said they wouldn't be able to deliver a product that would return on the investment, basically.
Right. It came down to money. So money spent versus money gained back versus what else are we doing with our money? What other games, what other IPs?
And I was thinking about that, though. What would a Marvel MMO look like? I mean, would it be like 500,000 Spider-Mans running around?
Probably. Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to do it because, WoW is everybody's still kind of, I don't want to use the word realistic, but within the realm of mortality. If you bring in a Marvel MMO and everybody wants to be Thor, you can't do that. You can't give everybody earth-shattering powers and have it be stable.
We all played City of Heroes, so I haven't seen the game in behind closed doors, so this is nothing for certain, but I would assume it would be sort of City of Heroes-ish, but you would be playing in, look, there's the Avengers building. That's where Fantastic Four is. I don't think you're playing those guys.
If that's the case, then there's no way it's going to take away the market share from WoW, because about the only thing that you could do to entice people away is if you could play as the Hulk or Spider-Man or Wolverine. If you're just Mr. Superhero X and, you can interact with those guys, but you can't be them, then you pretty much are just playing City of Heroes.
Next topic.
We can talk about the stupid awards, because there actually were a couple stupid awards this last week. This was from the Visual Effects Society. They gave out their 2007 Awards of the Year, and they're a society that covers more than just video games. They do digital effects for movies, commercials, all kinds of stuff. They gave an award for Outstanding Real-Time Visuals in a Video Game. These are the engine visuals. So the list was Need for Speed, Pro Street, Crysis, Team Fortress 2, Halo 3, and Mass Effect. And the winner was Halo 3. I appreciate good graphics, but I'm no graphics junkie. But you know what? Crysis kicks the living crap out of Halo 3. I'm sorry, Halo fanboys.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened.
Is that
there.
voted on by fanboys or something?
No, that's voted on by I have a vote. Like anybody
And
who
you-
works in the industry gets a vote.
You voted for
I
Halo.
guess so. I voted for Halo 3 then. That must be what happened, because that's definitely something I would do, is vote for Halo 3 over something that looks decidedly better. I remember getting videos of Crysis before it came out of what they were doing with their engine and just drooling on myself, and then seeing Halo and just being like, okay,
I'll
looks like
bet
a
you
Halo
if you
game.
asked Halo team at Bungie, who do you think has better graphics, your game or Crysis? I don't think that they would kid themselves. I bet you they'd say Crysis too, because you can't argue it.
Yeah, well, didn't they say many times they really weren't going for graphics, they were going for gameplay?
Right. Their whole shtick is gameplay, and that's what I think everybody takes out of that game. So I was curious what the hell happened there.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
they were
so
hanging
you're right.
chads, like in the Bush thing. Where
There's a dangling bit.
they like screwed up. They thought they voted for Crysis when in fact they were wrong and the boxes were mislabeled.
Here's one other set of awards which is kind of unusual, and I think they didn't pay enough attention to the industry as a whole. The Writers Guild of America gave out writing awards for video games this year. This is the last year where we actually saw a lot of, good, well-written games come out, such as Mass Effect, BioShock. Well, the nominations for this award were Crash of the Titans, Deadhead Fred, Simpsons, The Witcher, and World in Conflict.
Dear God.
Yeah. Apparently, to have a chance at getting on this award was the writers of the game had to be part of the Writers Guild of America.
Well, and of course, like the Simpsons are, because I'm sure they have to be in order to write for the actual TV show.
Well, the winner of this award was Deadhead Fred. It's a PSP game where you're a detective that gets his head cut off and he has to go find it.
And how the heck is Crash of the Titans, which is, I'm assuming, the Crash Bandicoot platform game, how does a platform game even get entered into Best Writing category?
The thing is, if video games want to be considered for things, I would assume that you'd want something like the Writers Guild of America to... They're pretty prestigious, the Writers Guild of America, right?
I'm sure it's some fee, though, right? You can't just join the guild. I'm talking out of my butt here, maybe, but why would I want to pay 10 or 100 grand or whatever to have my writers for some game join the Writers Guild?
It's a union. That's why all our TV shows went to crap when they went on strike. They get manhandled as badly as everybody else who works on video games does. I'm sure they don't want them to be in the guild, so...
Yeah, it's a union, which means they have to get paid a minimum amount of money. There's all these rules around being in a union.
Yeah, they have to get vacation and not work 20-hour days.
Think about this. We just had a situation here where the writers went on strike and we had no new TV shows. So what if all of the writers of all of the video game companies were to become part of the Writers Guild of America and one day they should decide to strike?
We would have a deluge of games that Chris would love.
Bring it on, man. I don't want any plot anyway.
So you're saying that would be a boon then, would be to get rid of all the writers and just start making
Yes.
totally plotless games where you're just walking around with chainsaws, basically.
Yes, if they did that...
Now you're talking.
And the role-playing game would just have stats, and you wouldn't know why, but you'd be like, chainsaw power, masculinity, and you could put points in all of these things. And as you did, it would make your bloody chainsaw death even more grotesque. I'd buy it.
There's one sale.
Yes! I'm 1/10,000th of the way to auto assault, so we're doing all right.
Next topic.
You guys are all playing World of Warcraft again. Let's see if you guys are going to take part in this.
No.
I know you're going to say no, Bob, but hey. I know you're not in the PvP. Most of you guys are in the PvE.
For the common man, what is a PvP and a
I
PvE?
think we said it once before, but PvE is player versus environment, where you guys basically just fight monsters and do all your quests and stuff. And PvP is player versus player, where obviously you're fighting the other players and trying to prove you're the baddest.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I try to do PvP. I'm very bad at it. I usually get very upset and start yelling. I'm a hunter, and I'm supposed to be able to do very well in PvP. And since I don't have the what's called the survival spec tree, I can't even compete. Like, the warriors just destroy me.
I would like to apologize to all of the people who don't play WoW. I have no idea what... I will say some random things. Toothpaste, monkey, jumping, flippy skips, hot dog. There you go.
The only thing I was going to say about PvP is I was on a quest and I stumbled into some arena, and PvP in World of Warcraft is actually pretty well done. It's not just wander around the universe and fight random people or go on raids to fight groups of people. They actually have arenas where you can do, like, capture the flag.
Wait, you stumbled into an arena and just got caught up in the fight?
No.
No, you have
I stumbled upon the
Whoa! Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, I was thinking some bad fantasy movie in my head where you stumbled into the combat arena, a guy just threw a sword in your head and said, go fight him.
Whoa!
All I was going to say here is Blizzard is putting into WoW, they're going to have, I think this summer, a global tournament for PvP combat. And they're going to use the arena system, and they're going to make these special realms where the players will be able to make a level 70 character automatically. You won't have to level somebody. You can just make the level 70 guy, spec him out with what they're calling epic equipment. Don't know what that means. It's going to cost $20 to enter. You're going to have teams of 3-on-3. And then you're going to go through qualifying rounds, and then you're going to eventually move up to regional competitions where they're going to split prizes up $27,000, and then whoever wins the ultimate one is going to have $75,000 purse they're going to win.
Yeah, before you started describing that, I would have figured there's no way because your PvP gear really does help you out. But now that you mentioned that they would give you the opportunity to deck out your character with whatever gear you want, that sounds like a great idea.
Every Frenchman will become a pirate on Saturday.
Next topic.
Okay, so let's do a fact or crap. I went the other direction this week. Now we have 4 facts and 1 crap. Number 1. Capcom Japan released their worldwide sales figures for all of their million-plus selling titles. And this is worldwide sales. And according to the list, the 1997 game Dino Crisis, which was a PlayStation game that was a survival horror that featured dinosaurs, sold more copies than the PlayStation 2 game Devil May Cry. Number 2. So we all like Warlords here. Warlords by Stephen Faulkner of the Puzzle Quest fame, that kind of Warlords. I figured I'd give you a little Warlords, is this true or false? So here's your statement. Ready? In Warlords, 8 different clans fought competing for control over Eternia. The clans are the Syrians, Storm Giants, Grey Dwarves, Orcs of Kor, Elvali, Horse Lords, Silentines, and Lord Bane. Number 3. So remember one game from a while ago was The Darkness, and one of the features of The Darkness was it actually contained full-length movies and TV shows. You could actually in one scene sit down with your endgame girlfriend and watch To Kill a Mockingbird. This wasn't the first game to actually feature full movie in the game. From the last generation days of the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, the game Destroy All Humans. If you beat the game, you could actually sit there and watch the full-length sci-fi 50s B-movie Teenagers from Outer Space, which was an 86-minute film. Number 4. Turok just came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. In the video game realm, Turok showed up, way back in 1997 on the Nintendo 64 with Turok Dinosaur Hunter. But where did Turok come from? What was the original backstory of Turok? Well, Turok was a character that started out in Dell Comics way back in 1956. Turok was a pre-Columbian, this is a pre-1492 Native American, who was trapped in an isolated valley with his brother Andar. And in the valley were evil dinosaurs that were trying to kill him. And Turok and Andar referred to the dinosaurs as honkers. Finally, number 5. So beyond having mascots for your consoles, it's also very important to have spokesmen for your consoles. Maybe appear in TV commercials and those kind of things. And for the Sega Saturn, in their TV commercials, they created a fictional spokesman. His name was Sanshiro Segata. He lived as a hermit on a mountain and devoted his life to Sega Saturn training. He would carry a large Sega Saturn on his back and punch the buttons on a giant Saturn controller, and occasionally he would go to cities to seek out those who did not play the Sega Saturn and punish them. He had a catchphrase, which was Sega Saturn Shiro, which is, you must play Sega Saturn.
That's not a catchphrase, it's just a command.
Now, when Sega phased out the Saturn with the Dreamcast, they decided to make one last Sanshiro commercial. And in the commercial, there was a missile shot at Sega's Tokyo headquarters. Sanshiro jumped onto the missile, deflecting it, riding it into space. Right before it exploded in space, he gave out his command one last time of Sega Saturn Shiro. 4 of those are true, 1 of those is false. You must tell me which one is false. And we'll start with Ivan, since Ivan likes to describe things.
Boy. Devil May Cry, the first one, I don't know how popular that was, so I would be willing to bet Dino Crisis beat it. I never played Warlords. The Darkness. I believe that's PS2. I don't know that you could fit a full 86-minute length movie on the same DVD as an entire game. And the Turok and Sega things sound way too detailed to be made up, no offense, Chad. Not that you couldn't come up with those things.
I might have just changed one little thing.
Actually, his catchphrase was, please play the Sega Saturn. So, haha.
This is one where I don't even have a clue. So just based on numbers, I'll go with Capcom is Carp, and that Devil May Cry actually sold more than Dino Crisis.
Okay, next we'll do Phil.
Please don't do me, but I will answer the question.
Well, the pizza guy's not at your house yet.
Right. I was kind of going to say The Darkness along with Ivan. I'm not too sure if you'd be able to fit a full game plus a full-length movie. So I'm going to say number 3 and Destroy All Humans.
Okay, and Bob.
That Hermit one is total crap. He didn't steer the missile away. He landed it into all the Sega Saturn, so he had no choice but to buy the Dreamcast. So there, that's my choice.
And finally, Chris.
I was getting caught up in words, but I think you said Eternia. Did you mean to say Eternia? It was the home base of Warlords?
That's why I said Eternia.
I'm going to say Eternia was the He-Man place, and that was right.
Yeah, number 2 is the crap. It's not Eternia, it's Illyria.
Oh. I know it's easy to say after the fact, but I heard you say Eternia, and I thought, I wonder if that's right. And I thought, no, it's probably something stupid where they just used the same name in both the game and He-Man, and it was never copyrighted or anything. So
Okay, so yes, Dino Crisis did outsell Devil May Cry.
The only question I want answered is, why were they called honkers?
I don't know, actually. It must have been some 50s thing.
It's from the Muppets.
Sure.
Those guys with the horns on their noses.
Yes, Destroy All Humans did feature Teenagers from Outer Space, the full movie. For Mr. Sanshiro Segata, here is your YouTube link of him taking out the missile.
That's not even a good costume he has on or hair.
Yeah, oh, it's just like a guy. I thought it was going to be like a little anime character or something.
Yeah, they based the character off of some Kurosawa movie.
I like how he can still speak in space.
In space, nobody can hear you pimp Sega Saturn.
I don't think many people heard him say buy Sega Saturn to begin with, because Sega Saturn never did very well.
Or if they did, they just weren't listening very well.
Next topic.
The next-gen video format should be all important to the console fight or wars or whatever. This last week, HD DVDs pretty much nail in the coffin right now. Netflix dropped them, Walmart dropped them. Rumor has it that Toshiba, who was the major maker of HD DVD hardware, they're no longer producing HD DVD drives.
I've never seen side by side a DVD movie versus Blu-ray movie. I'm sure there's significant differences. I'm sure it's much better. I had the same argument with VHS and DVD. When I'm watching a movie, as long as it's clear and it looks good, that's all I care about.
I own an HD DVD and Blu-ray, and of course normal DVDs, and I've compared one of the films I've watched, the DVD version versus the Blu-ray version, and yes, there's a significant increase in quality in terms of resolution, being able to see things clearer.
But does it change your movie watching experience at all, though?
I think it does, in my opinion. And being that my only experience so far with HD in my home has been watching streaming stuff on my computer versus craptacular crap on my standard def television in my living room. The only thing I like about this whole thing, unlike the beta versus VHS wars way back when, and here the better technology one, which is good.
Is it a gaming reason or is it a movie reason? Because the point I was sort of making in the GCN forums is for video games, it doesn't matter to me.
We can fit more crap on a Blu-ray. Maybe eventually that'll make a difference. Now it doesn't. My biggest gripe is it's called Blu-ray. That is a retarded name. Throwing that out there. HD DVD described what it was. It was a high-definition DVD. Blu-ray...
It's a Blu-ray.
No. The Blu-ray is located inside the device that plays it. There's nothing Blu-ray on the disc itself. Because it was...
Do you own a Blu-ray, Bob? Maybe there is.
You know, you're right, maybe. That could be it. Are the lasers actually blue? I thought they were ultraviolet at this point.
I thought they were blue in the Blu-ray.
Yeah, how about this? We'll get a test. We'll get one of the Blu-ray lasers and shine it in your eye.
Next topic.
Mailbag.
From Arturo. Big fan of the show, been listening since before the 76 episodes. I'm a graphic design major at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. Shout out to the video game club there. And I want to go into video game packaging. My question to you guys is, if you know where I should start looking, is there anyone in the industry that I should be looking into? Thanks in advance and keep up the awesome job.
I know that we use creative design teams at work. So there's one or two companies that we deal with almost exclusively, and they're the ones that do our box art, and they give us proofs. So it's kind of cool. Like they bring them in, we talk about them, we look at them, we say that one's cool, that one's stupid, that one's cool. But there's only like one or two creative companies. So I think if you get with a creative agency, one of the things you may do is video game art. I don't think there is a video game art company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm wondering if most of those companies just go look to freelance artists and hire them as the guys. Like, we like your work, your portfolio is pretty good.
I bet freelance is probably the way to go. That's probably where they hire most of their artists. Even Magic the Gathering was pretty much all freelance artists. So
I would even go to say that the creative side of it may be more important than the artistic side of it. Like the laying out things and the figuring, what should the picture be of? So should it be Master Chief or should it be the Warthog? You know what I mean? Should it be at the top or the bottom?
Okay, next letter here. We got a letter from Ted. I'm 14 and I live in Somerset in England. I definitely want to get a 360, but I was wondering, could you recommend A, where I could get one cheap-ish, and B, some good solid games? Thanks in advance.
If you had to buy 3 games for the 360, what would they be?
I don't think I have bought 3 games for the 360. I've purchased Rainbow Six and I've purchased Rock Band. I think beyond that, they were gifts.
Call of Duty 4 is a good bet for the 360.
Gears of War is an amazing title.
Right now, I'm playing Poker Smash, Culdcept Saga, and the hell's the other? Oh, Puzzle Quest. One of the things I was trying to say there was there's lots of good stuff on the arcade.
So you should only buy 2 games, and you should save $50 or $60 to buy 5 or 10 games on arcade.
There's lots of good stuff on arcade. I mean, Prince of Persia, Puzzle Quest. Chris, I know you like that new Xbox Live Arcade game, Commanders, which is kind of like an Advance Wars kind of game. Talk it up for a minute.
800 points, so about $10. It is a turn-based strategy game. It's not real time. The difference being like chess and checkers. I go, then you go, then I go, then you go. Versus Warcraft, where everyone's running around at the same time.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where you actually have time to think about what you're doing. And sometimes people don't like that over live because that kind of slows the game down.
You do a good job. We played some 3 and 4 people, and you can set the turn to be 1 or 2 minutes. And 1 minute's kind of fun because you don't have enough time to do anything that you want to. So you really have to pick 1 or 2 of your most important moves and get those out of the way first. So it keeps the game fast. If you want to do the slower pace one, you can still do it.
So Ted, there's your answer on what to look for on the 360 and as to where to buy one cheapish. Can't really help you out because we're not in England.
Oblivion. Don't forget Oblivion. You got to buy Oblivion.
Oblivion, play it for 200 hours, then lose all your saves. Have fun.
Yeah.
That was Video Game Show episode number 77 for Sunday, February 17th, 2008. Any ham sandwiches or shared dream pies to the world, people?
The Commanders, I would like to give a ham sandwich, because it's fun, and I know I sound like a broken record.
Okay, a couple quick announcements right now. First, Zulfikar on the GamerCast Network forums is going to start up a Call of Duty 4 tournament for the Xbox 360. There's going to be some GamerCast Network prizes and all kinds of stuff. I will put a link to the registration page on the Video Game Show website. Second, on Wednesday night of this week, I'll put the entries up for the PC Gears of War contest, so our listeners can go vote on to see who gets Gears of War and who gets Viva Pinata. And thanks to PopCap, we've got a lot of PopCap stuff to give away over the next few weeks. This first week, we're going to give away a couple PopCap games for the PC, including Peggle. So we need a contest, guys.
Design a level for Peggle.
That'd be easy because all you have to do is make a bunch of dots on the background.
It's just dots, and you basically do whatever you want. So it could be VGS or not VGS related, although I'll probably get brownie points for VGS related.
Okay, do that.
They have characters with powers in Peggle. You could either make a map or a character.
So there you go. You can either lay out a whole new Peggle level or make up your own character for Peggle with his own special power.
Like Emilio would have a power. I don't know what it would be.
He would whoop.
He would whoop.
The power
doesn't
whoop.
have any effect on gameplay, but it's funny.
It's loud as hell, though.
It drives you to trying to clear the board faster.
I'm not going to stop until you win. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Send your entries to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org. And one last quick reminder about Gamertag Radio's Vibes event, which is going to be this Saturday from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. So for our listeners in the Miami, Florida area, go check it out. I'll be sure to put an announcement on the Video Game Show webpage. And as always, send your comments, questions, queries, or concerns to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org, Skype us at Video Game Show, or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long-distance call, and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night.
How's that? Is that better? I'm half volume now.
No, you're still loud.
Still sounds exactly the same, actually.
Now I'm very quiet.
Yeah, now you're very quiet.
Very quiet.
All right, I'm back in the middle again. Maybe Skype just didn't update it yet.
What about altering your settings in...
That's what I'm doing. Skype just decided it's smarter than me, and it needs to adjust everything. So in my main recording volume, I am now half the volume I started the phone call with.
And if you go any lower...
you tell me. I'm going to talk, 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 I'm going to talk.
Oh, now it's going a little higher.
A little higher? Talk, 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 talk. I'm saying words, I'm saying words, I'm saying words. La, 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 la. This is ridiculous, by the way. Why this is happening the way it is. All right, let me put this back all the way loud.
Wow, that's really loud.
What if I whisper?
That's
Nah, it
worse.
sounds like you whispering really, really loudly.
Loud.
All right, now I am at 1/4 volume in Skype. Is that any better or worse?
I think we can make it work. I mean, you're not clipping.
I can lower it more if you're saying it didn't do a thing.
You're okay. I mean, actually, honestly, you're okay. You're in the range. You're not clipping. You're not too low, so everything will be fine.
So through attrition, I got you guys to agree that the volume that hasn't changed is now fine. Is that what I mean? It's like, oh, dude, you're too loud. You're too loud. You know what? I'm tired of trying to make it work.